a question on flavor, because that is something that we've heard a lot, and I know it is a concern not only from, we've heard it from the Vaping Association, but also from individuals, and they were very strongly attached to those flavors. And I guess my question would be on why this is very important, and how confident you feel that it is effective in terms of protecting our youth.
Thank you very much for the question, Senator, and may I thank you very much for your tremendous leadership on this, on introducing this piece of legislation, and your strong advocacy on behalf of Canadians in protecting their health. I recognize a tremendous amount of work that you've done on this matter. In terms of the question of flavors, I think it's one that I think there has been some clarification in your discussions around the specifics of the legislation and the intention to develop regulations associated with it, and that the goal would be not to restrict the ability to make various chemical flavorings. And in fact, there are, as I understand, almost a limited number of flavors that could be used for vaping products. But the goal is to limit the ability to promote a specific flavor which might be particularly appealing to youth. And so you'll see the theme, as you well know, in the legislation over and over again around protecting the youth. So in fact, it may be that a particular flavor which might be seen to be helpful, again, for those who are in attempting to reduce smoking and want to be able to use a vaping product that has a palatable flavor. What we don't want to see is products that promote themselves to be bubblegum flavor, for example, in a way that young children and youth might feel that this would be a product that they would particularly enjoy. And anything that we see as an inducement that would encourage youth to take up something that would seem to be particularly attractive because of the name of the flavor is something that we would seek to limit.
I want to dig down a little deeper on the flavors issue with respect to vaping products, because I think the evidence we've had here at our hearings is substantially to the effect that it is less harmful for people trying to get off cigarette smoking. And that's not to say it's harmless. In fact, the long-term effects, as we've also heard, are still rather uncertain or unknown at this point in time. In terms of the flavors, you specifically mentioned flavors that could be appealing to youth. You mentioned candy and chocolates, bubble gum, for example. I can understand that. And we do want to keep it away from youth. But some of those same flavors are also attractive to the people who are on a smoking cessation endeavor. And, chocolate, for example, would be quite appealing to people of any age. So, do I understand clearly? Because a lot of what you're going to do here is by regulation. It's not all in this this bill. A lot of it's going to come subsequently, and it's a little unclear to me as to how you're going to draw the line on that. But I understand from what you're saying, and in your original response to Senator Petitclerc, was that, in fact, it's in the advertising and in the promotion where you might prohibit them saying chocolate or bubble gum or candy. But that actually you're not going to prohibit any of those flavors for anybody that wants to have them, any adult that wants to have them as part of a cessation program. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, and you're absolutely right that this will be done largely through regulations, and of course there'll be, as with any regulations, opportunity for consultation in that process. My officials may want to clarify this further, but it's, as I understand it, because of the chemical structure of flavoring, it would be almost impossible to sort of actually be able to list what a specific taste is like. There's so many types of tastes that something could have. So there would not be anything to prohibit something tasting in a palatable colorful, appealing way, which might allow, as you said, somebody who's currently a smoker to find it easier to switch to a less harmful product. But it's, again, in the spirit of protecting youth, to not give these flavors names that would make it sound like they were something appetizing and appealing to young people. I don't know whether...
Chocolate could go both ways. Go
So,
ahead.
do you want to give a bit more detail on that?
Yes, thank you. As the Minister says, the approach that we're taking here is rooted in the quest for balance, balancing the objective of helping smokers to quit, while at the same time protecting young people against potentially a lifelong nicotine addiction. So it's all about the balance. I think I would say that it's in recognition of wanting to support smokers that, for example, menthol isn't being banned in vaping products.
Is not.
Is not, while at the same time the Minister's moving forward to
Yes.
ban menthol in tobacco
Fine.
products. And it's the recognition of menthol being potentially helpful to smokers. So you asked, Senator, how we draw the line in the future about what may be added, and I think the answer to that is simply the evidence that emerges over time. We've been funded to implement this bill. We'll have a very active program of market surveillance and intelligence, and if we find over time that there are new flavors that are particularly appealing to youth, we could move through a regulatory process to add them to the list. So I think that's the answer to that particular
Add them to the list
question.
in terms of marketing or promotion?
In terms of bans on the prohibition of certain flavors beyond confectionery, for example, which is going to be banned off the bat.
I like the first answer from the Minister.
Just repeat your comment about menthol, please.
Menthol, it's not proposed that menthol is a prohibited
I'm
flavor.
afraid I can't hear it. So
It's not proposed that menthol, the promotion of menthol, would be on the prohibited list
For vaping.
okay.
for vaping,
But it
even
remain-
though it
okay.
will be a prohibited
I
flavor
thought
for
that's what the
tobacco.
minister was said at the outset, but I didn't hear your language clearly enough. We want to be absolutely clear. Menthol is banned from tobacco products, but will not be banned from vaping products.
Correct.
Thank you very much.